Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new episode 74 of Dissonant Waves. I'm Dominic, and Ritz and Tricks are here, like always.
How you do?
Howdy.
And I'm going to predict this episode is going to be pretty short. That's my opinion, anyway. We have 3 albums to talk about this week, and a couple singles as well. We've got Tropical Fuckstorms, A Laughing Death in Meatspace, finally.
Now that you said that word, we cannot get any money.
Oh, fuck. Alright, whatever.
We're not getting any money from this podcast anyways.
I know, which is why I'm allowed to say the word cunt over and over.
Yes.
Over and over, you said?
And also YouTube does allow fucks now.
Oh, cool.
Shit, alright.
Do they allow the word cunt, or are they still discriminating against Aussies?
I think they still might be discriminating against Aussies.
Ah,
Oh, well,
shitheads.
whatever. We also have the Frights. Hi, the Frights, with the singles Tongues and Puppy Knuckles as well.
Yes.
And we have another album that was suggested by one Lorenzo Gillis Cook, Ty Segall and Michael Cronin's Reverse Shark Attack.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My suggestion is that we talk about the one that I have the least to say about of any album we ever really done for this podcast. Let's talk about the Frights.
Yeah,
This
I
is a
agree with
fun
that.
album.
Nah, not
This is
even.
a fun album. Can
Boring.
I like give like a little introduction?
Go ahead.
No.
This is a fun album to me, and it hit me at a really important time in my life where like I was just newly single and like I was just out of my shitty relationship, and it hit me and like stuck with me in like a weird way that I can't explain, and I really dig this album.
That's fair. I can't
Hey.
knock your personal experiences.
I cannot knock your personal experience either. I just want to say that we have covered quite a lot of surf rock on this podcast.
Yes, we have.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I brought in Hockey Day, which is one of my favorite artists of all time at this point, with how much I listen to them, how many times I've gone to a gig. There have been a couple of artists that Trix has introduced. Mostly, surf rock's mostly been from her because,
Yeah.
as you know, you're a big surf rock fan, and there's actually been quite a lot that I've discovered that I've liked. Taco Cat was a bit of surf punk there.
Yep.
They're pretty good. Wunderbar's actually kind of gotten better and better on listen. Ash in the Sun has been a fantastic tune I still go back to. But there's also just been a lot of surf rock for some reason. I should say that, like Man or Astroman, actually, because that was last week as well. That was also good.
That fucks. That
Yeah.
album was really good. Well, and that EP was pretty good too.
But there's also just a lot of surf rock that you've introduced, which has just been boring, and it's hard to explain why. Especially when there are a lot of similarities between these albums as well.
Yes.
I wasn't a big fan of some of the more lo-fi stuff that's been done here, especially specifically Slaughterhouse, which I know isn't really surf rock, but you know, there's a bit of that in Reverse Shark Attack.
Yeah.
But this one, I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the worst that we've done, but I also wouldn't say it's anywhere near the best that we've done. This is just boring. It's just there. Yeah, they do their music well, but I can't remember a single I listened to this 3 times.
Yes.
And I listened to the singles 3 times as well. That's actually quite a lot more than I usually listen to albums recently, due to, laziness and personal commitments and work. But this is short, so I managed to give it a couple of listens, and I can't remember shit.
You said it was short?
Really... Was it short?
It doesn't feel short to
Felt
me.
That's 41 minutes, it's not the longest.
No, it's about average.
I thought it was shorter than that. I guess Reverse Shark Attack, I might be confusing the lengths here. Yeah, probably. But
Reverse Shark Attack is pretty short.
yeah, I knew Reverse Shark Attack was short, but regardless, I mean, it kind of just came and went as an album, and I get it. This is like one of the first surf rock stuff that you listen to, or something like that. I might hit a bit harder, but if we had done this at the start of the podcast, maybe this would have a bit more lore. But and I can't believe I didn't mention this when I was saying all the surf rock that we've done. When the first one we literally did was Hot Flash Heatwave in episode 1, and this album feels like if we had covered Hot Flash right now.
I think Hot Flash
Fair
Heatwave
enough.
has more personality than this.
I feel like time will show on that, but I do agree at the moment.
Like, I remember things from Hot Flash Heatwave even now that I remember thinking about back then. Like, you know, how one of those songs sounded like an Apples and Stereo song. I remember thinking about that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
I mostly just remember Malibu and a bit of Gutter Girl.
Yeah, and I can remember some of those songs as
Uh,
well. But I've also listened to those songs
I
a
mean,
little
I
bit
own it on
since then.
vinyl, so I'm not going to say anything.
But this is possibly even more than Tristan. I think the most like, and I say like a lot in this. I understand I say like a lot in this podcast, and I'm just going to address that now for a second. I'm sorry that I do.
Everyone says everything a lot. That's how podcasts work.
But I have
Keep
to edit my
repeating something till
voice.
it's
I
an
say
enter.
like so much. But in a world where we listen to Tristan, we've listened to the Temper Trap, and we've thought that those albums were pretty generic. Some of us. I think this is even more so than Tristan. Even more so
Here's a good
than Temper
question.
Trap.
Okay, I'm gonna have a fight with you for calling Temper Trap generic, though. I admit they're not the most groundbreaking band out there, but they at least had a songwriting that was interesting enough, in my opinion, for what they were doing.
I have a legitimate question.
Yeah.
I still listen to Trembling Hands on repeat, and that shit hits hard.
How does this album compare to Balu?
I did not like Baloo. This
Kinda
is
same.
literally like skipping stones in the water, where it just happens and it like just skimmed right off me, and I have no like nothing.
Here's
Fair enough.
the thing, actually, though. I haven't listened to Baloo in a shit ton of a time, but I can still remember quite well Man in the 60s, how it goes, and I thought, that song was at least a little fun, and it was a bit memorable. Here, and this is fresher in my head, I can't remember anything. This is just generally came and went music.
Fair enough.
Like, I think Frat Kids had a build up or an instrumental breakdown that I kind of liked, maybe, toward the end of the song. And that was me thinking, I need to come up with something positive to say. There has to be something.
Well, I think
Fair
the
enough.
other curse as well was that we're doing another surf rock album this week, and it's better. I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of either of these albums, spoiler, but it's still better. I can't remember a song in full too much of Reverse Shark Attack, but I can at least remember moments of it.
Yeah,
I can remember
that's
the
fair.
ending song, which I think was actually great. But this, I'll go back to that when we actually get to it. But this is just, I don't know. I remember enjoying. I think I enjoyed Puppy Knuckles or something. That one I kind of had my feet tapping to. It's like, yeah, that's alright. It's good background music, and that's about it. But
I'm looking at my notes because I did take notes, so I'm trying to find something here. I mean, we could talk about the controversy the Frights have been in with the Burger Record stuff.
Yeah.
Frights a little not actually too involved with that, or did I read that wrong?
It's been said that the singer, I don't know, had sex or I don't know if it was full like rape or what of a person who was underage, but at the time it was not well communicated that was the issue. So it seemed to be partially misunderstanding, partially just not revealing the full information, and they both kind of came together and released a statement saying something to that effect.
I always
very
wonder,
generalizing it, but
I always wonder how that can even happen. To be honest,
well, if he doesn't ask and she doesn't say,
I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna go too full on about it, but I feel like if it is a genuine case where both sides aren't in any kind of trauma about it, then I guess kind of move on. I don't know. I can't really speak for this. I'm not the most educated about anything.
it just seemed interesting or weird to me because she released a statement first, then they came together like a day later and released a statement together. Like, okay, they must have talked a lot in that 36 hour time span.
I mean, say the worst actually does is the actual case in this. Again, don't put in any speculation here, but it's not going to be the point. And there isn't any, especially when it comes to that kind of stuff, there isn't any album or any artist or something that could be good enough in their work to get past that. But if it was actually possible to do that, this album would still not be any chance of doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think this band is good enough to be cunts.
Most interesting notes I have here is like the singer is a little bit somewhere between a surf rock vocalist and it has a little bit of that B-52's flair, I will say. It's a bit of a more dramatic type of vocal style.
I will say that if you paid attention to the lyrics of Crust Bucket, that's like an incel anthem pretty much.
Did not pay attention to the lyrics. Did not really want
kind
to.
of hard to when it all just kind of went through one ear out the other, to be honest.
Like let's see here.
There were
was it
times.
Crust Bucket or was it?
I'll
Hold
just
up.
say.
I'm forgetting it myself. Even it was submarines.
I will say as well. I actually got two things to talk about here. One's actually relevant to an Australian artist at the moment. First, I was going to say, just kind of like with not paying attention to the lyrics. I usually do that. I don't actually go searching at the lyrics. Like I go based on what I hear when I judge it and stuff. And then if I'm actually focused enough on the lyrics and what I hear, I go search it up. And there were times where I've been kind of a bit confused about what to do, like what to take from the lyrics, and I actually have searched it up before doing a take, like with the Anoni one. That was a big one with the with Watch Me, which kind of seemed like this whole shitty love song kind of thing, but then turned out to be kind of a whole political satire based off the NSA, which actually changed my view on that.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I can't pay attention to any of the lyrics, so I had no interest to search up what any of these songs are about, and even after all this gets said, I still don't. And when we're also going on to incel anthems, there is a band right now that's getting cancelled, and deservingly so, in Australia called Rancid Eddie, and Dominic's already laughing at that, at the kind of irony of that name, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. What's not so funny is that they decided that unironically calling women's cum rags and sluts in their songs was good songwriting.
Oh yeah, no.
Now, it's kind of funny that they
Yeah, it's not
decided
good.
that, but it's
Not good.
they were asked to explain themselves and probably apologize for those lyrics, and then they attacked everyone. That was funny. That was funny. They really thought that was gonna work in their favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to be American by doing it that way, you know? They just attack, attack, attack. Hopefully it works out for you.
Well, everyone sees Kanye West and goes, "Oh, but he's an asshole, but he makes good music and he's popular." No, Kanye West and artists around that level have such good PR that you don't realize it's such good PR.
Yeah.
Like Kanye still got some controversy, but you forget a lot of the shit that Kanye does.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he's in the right for some of the shit that's happened that has been advertised or put out there in the media. But he's still done some fuck shit. Chris Brown still gets goddamn work, and that's always the big go-to.
Yeah.
When you're a band of this size, Rancid Eddie, you don't have the ability to be assholes. It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Morrissey's an absolute asshole, but he's still big enough to be it. Oasis were big enough to be assholes.
Yeah,
Some
once you
random
achieve
band
a
from
certain
Greenback
amount of
fuckers.
status as a band, you'll have that dichotomy of you could be terrible, but people will still come to your defense. Ignore that stuff because they think you're so good.
Yeah.
Also, just to point out the lyrics in Cold here for a second, it says, I did write this down because it did stand out to me. Your body, your mistake. Which sounds a bit kind of like my body, my choice, personally, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember the context of that line. I didn't look it up necessarily, but that line in the recording did stand out to me.
This is boring.
Well, yeah.
That's all I got to say about this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not a great album, but like it's got some personal impact to me.
You don't have to like equivocate to us, chicks. You can like this album. It's okay.
I know.
But in the words of Dominic, maybe you should have broken up to a better album.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I can't wait for that line to get used against me when I get in a relationship and break up.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to know what that album's gonna be. Oh boy, it's almost more exciting than getting into a relationship at this point.
Because I can't make it on my own.
I'm thinking probably, I don't know. Let's go with the first Journey album and see where that goes.
Ooh, yeah, bad choice already.
Yeah.
Never even listened to the first Journey album, but I'm gonna guess it's not great because what, they get to 8 before they got anywhere.
Journey just isn't great at all.
Yeah.
The true first album I actually do want to listen to, because apparently even the band absolutely hates it at this point. It's the first and the true first Bring Me the Horizon album.
Oh.
When they were more seen and more they were a lot more just scream and hope that will make a good album. Which, like, there are a lot of people who don't like Bring Me the Horizon's music right now, and
Yeah.
I think their recent output's their best. I think they've actually evolved as a band in a good way. But if you think their music now, which is not, but if you think it, then go back to the album which they themselves hate.
Yeah.
Because it's too angsty. But anyway, what do you want to move on to? I can't give a favorite or a least favorite here when I can't remember shit.
Yeah, I literally have no
I'll
favorite, least favorite.
I'll throw down a quick favorite because I've spent the most time with this album.
Mm.
Favorites are Rust Bucket, Hard Ticket, and Submarines.
Pistachios are good. I had to say something positive.
I thought part of Frat Kids was alright. Sorry to rustle the paper so much in the recording. But yeah, I thought Frat Kids was a little bit interesting, I guess. I don't know. I remember that one section I liked, kind of. But yeah, I don't really care otherwise. Favorite or least favorite, I have nothing really to say for that.
What do we want to move on to?
Should we go to the better surf punk album that we did? Or surf-ish?
I'll let you two decide.
I mean, it seems like a natural segue.
Yeah,
let's talk about Ty Segall's Revenge with Mikal Cronin for Shark Attack, which is basically an EP that becomes a full album by 2 songs, basically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna succumb to the fact that I'm never gonna get into Ty Segall.
I think it's better than Slaughterhouse. I will say that.
I do as well, and I'm still not into this enough to really care. Like I appreciate.
I fucking love this album.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine. I can see enjoying this a lot more than I can with the Frights. I think it's a bit more interesting, but I actually just couldn't really. Like, I didn't hate this album. I didn't think it was bad. I just couldn't really get through it. It wasn't interesting for me, and that's weird because I like surf punk. I like lo-fi, but this just didn't grab me.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think that none of this is like super memorable or amazing. I will say this was a vinyl release in 2009, which is an interesting way to release your music, vinyl only, and then went digital in 2013. So it kind of had a
The
little
only
bit of a
only track
release.
that interested me on this though was the title track.
Yeah, and then worth pointing out that the 7th track, Take Up Thy Stethoscope and Walk, is a Pink Floyd cover. But the first 6 songs are like 2 minutes or less each. This is like a 10-minute EP for the first 6 songs. Then Take Up Thy Stethoscope is 4 minutes.
The first 2 songs are a bit over 2 minutes. Just want to put that out there. Yeah.
Take Up Thy Stethoscope is 4 minutes, and then Reverse Shark Attack is over 10 minutes. It is the entire side B of the vinyl.
Yeah.
So the structure is at least interesting to talk about in terms of being this weird. Here's side A, everything, and then side B is just one song.
I love the album art. Actually, I just want to put that out there. I probably love the album art more than the album, but fuck, is it both cute and funny?
Yeah, it's cute. I like it. I
want one of those shark helmets.
I think the vinyl would be pretty cool. I don't know if they can get it original pressing.
Yeah, I've been trying to get my hands on a copy of Slaughterhouse because for some reason they released it on 2 10-inchers instead of like a 12.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
But I think this is a fun album. You know, for some reason I wasn't able to pick a favorite for the week for a while, but then I realized I don't really remember much of these songs in terms of like structure or like what they're really about. They're very short. They're very lo-fi. They're very just explosions of sound and garage rock and surf punk, and then they move on.
Now, I just want to say, if you can't really pick a number 1 for this week, I don't think you were listening properly.
No, I got
there's some good
there.
tunes on this.
I got there is what I'm trying to say, because I've realized I don't really remember a ton of this in terms of like, oh my god, I Wear Black is so good, Ramona is so good. Like, I remember parts of I Wear Black, I remember parts of other songs, but obviously I remember the other album much more, and we'll get to that in a minute.
I will say I'm glad that Lorenzo has great taste in music.
I can see the Petite League influence.
Yes, I would love to know when he listened to this and how much it influenced him. I think that'd be very interesting to tie back to his work in Petite League and Spark, Alaska.
I should say as well, when I say I can see the Petite League influence, I mean I see how Petite League was influenced, not like not this the other way around, because that's just a stupid comment.
No, I know.
I know.
We got you.
Someone else listening might have just like not got me.
That's fair.
Fair enough.
I mean,
anyway,
these two dudes are in their early-ish 20s. They're just coming up together in the industry. They collaborated on this, and Mikal Cronin basically became part of Ty Segall's backing band.
Yep.
I don't really understand why this album is more special and having him in a higher role. Maybe because they just collaborated together in the songwriting process. I don't really know.
Yeah, I think that's what that is, because I think Cronin is mostly his live player.
Yeah. He also did like a single.
Like the reason that Ty Segall Band was called Ty Segall Band is because it was like the first album where it wasn't just Ty Segall recording everything himself.
That's fair. Yeah, but like this is in that network of like OCs and John Dwyer and all that stuff and King Gizzard.
Ty
Um,
Segall produced Orc, one of the best King Gizzard, not King Gizzard, OC's album.
and I believe one of the records. No, I'm thinking of Tropical Fuckstorm again. But they did work with King Gizzard. I do know that.
Gareth Lydiard is Well, I'll get to Gareth Lydiard when we get to Tropical Foxstorm. There's a lot to talk about with him when it comes to just his songwriting, I guess.
Worth noting though, this album partially published and released by Burger Records.
Yeah.
The only time they really collaborated with them, I think.
Yeah, I know that OC's has had a couple cassette releases with Burger Records too.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like a big connection like with the Frights or the Growlers or Swimmers.
Yeah. But talking about the title track for a second, Reverse Shark Attack being over 10 minutes and taking up as much space as like the first half of the album. In terms of the long tracks to end out the album that we've really encountered, especially Slaughterhouse had Fuzz War, I believe.
Yep.
This is so much better and so much more interesting because it's at least a 10-minute opus of a song and not just noise.
Yes. And like there are recognizable surf themes in it. Like I think I heard Wipeout at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I did hear that as well, actually.
Like
Actually, I might have just done the amber there.
But it's like they're like surf standards, like there are jazz standards, and like Wipeout's one of them. Miserloo, you know.
Right. And it just seemed like they were kind of just stringing things together. It's a multi-phase song. They're going from their lo-fi sound to more acoustic, back and forth, kind of. It's good. It's fun. You know, this is an album you kind of throw on and just enjoy what it is. It's better than Slaughterhouse by far.
By far for me, but I did enjoy it more than Slaughterhouse. I don't know. There was just something about this one that just had at least a bit more charm to it. Sorry for technical difficulties, by the way, for people listening. Trix is currently just offline, I guess we'll say for 5. There we go. She is back. That all that time I spent apologizing was just enough time. I don't know. This one just felt it just felt like it had a lot more charm to it than Slaughterhouse, but all in all, I still just wasn't as interested as I wanted to be with it. Like
That's fair. I can see that.
Ty Segall was actually an artist I've been trying to get into since way before this podcast, since probably around.
Have you listened to Emotional Mugger?
I have not listened to Emotional Mugger, but at this point, I've listened to parts of Sleeper, listened to parts of Melted, listened to Slaughterhouse, listened to Reverse Shark Attack, and yes, Ty Segall, I know, does have enough albums there that you can't really just judge it all from that. But I still from the parts of Melted I've listened to, from the parts of Sleeper I've listened to, from all that, I still haven't really found Ty Segall interesting enough.
That's fair.
And it's I don't know, it's just kind of been hard. And I think I might have listened to parts of Melted a long time ago actually, because it's not on my last FM. So it might have been in 2016. So maybe I should give it a another go then, because apparently it's been 5 years.
Melted is a good album. I quite like the song. The title track off of it, Melted, is great. You got Mike D's Coke. You've got there's a lot of good stuff. His new album Harmonizer was great, but off of Melted, Caesar, Finger, fucking Imaginary Person, good shit if you ask me.
I feel like the baby elephant eating sugar cane and trying to hide behind a light pole. You know, I picked this album and then everyone saw it and then it was like, oh, okay, bye.
But
no,
yeah,
I don't regret choosing this.
Credit,
I'm kidding. I'm just riffing on the picture that I just saw.
Yeah, but for extra credit, I'm going to recommend that Ritz listen to Emotional Mugger because it is one of his best albums.
Well, Trix, I dare you to throw it on the podcast in 2022 or sooner.
Yeah,
I'll do it. First episode we do.
Yeah, I'm probably more likely to actually give it a listen if you do that, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Look, if there's a Ty Segall album, I obviously still see that there's something to get into there, even if I haven't. So there's probably going to be a Ty Segall album that I actually like, but I guess we wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this one all right. I don't Like, it's not an amazing album, but it's definitely one I'll just throw on to have something go by in 25 minutes. Just enjoy it. It goes by fast. If you just throw it on, you'll be like, this is going by fast. Oh yeah, we're at Reverse Shark Attack already. Perfect. Because those songs, they're just like they're burning gas in a car. They just go through it super quickly.
Yeah.
But Reverse Shark Attack has all the effects. It has all the different parts. It's got underwater sounding vocals. It has just there's like a Spanish guitar kind of section. They're just jamming at a certain point. It's really the part that you focus on because there's so much going on. It's the centerpiece of the album. It's side B.
Yeah, there's even like a drum solo that I didn't mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you like the drum solo even. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if there's a favorite to have, it's probably Reverse Shark Attack, and then everything else, it's like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really least favorite about it, but Reverse Shark Attack is my
Fun
favorite.
album.
Yeah.
I liked High School.
Yeah.
I'm probably just gonna be lazy and agree with Dominic on this one.
Hell
Yeah, I liked it all. No least favorite.
Well, to shuffle my papers again, I believe there's only one album left to talk about.
And I'm going to introduce it, and everyone will shut up and not recognize how much of a hypocrite doing that is when I talk over tricks. So, for first person to talk about this, and excuse my misogyny by talking about the only man in this group, but in all fairness, it is Gareth Lydiard, who is probably considered one of Australia's, if not Australia's best modern songwriter. He formed the Drones in around 1997, and that band went on to around 2016, after which he formed with Fiona, can't remember
Kitchen.
her last name, apologies, Kitchen, thank you.
Kitchen.
Tropical Fuckstorm with two other members, but I can't remember their names by heart.
Lauren Hamill and Erica Dunn.
Thank you very much. Dominic is a lot more prepared for that than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't ever really talked about the Drones on here. They were definitely an artist that my dad was a big fan of. Not much people's dads would be a much fan of because they really are unknown. They haven't had a single hit ever, but yet they are somehow considered probably one of Australia's most important underground kind of blues art rock band. I guess it's the best way to describe them. And then
But you said Drones was never popular?
the Drones was never really popular, no.
Oh, I was reading that their song Shark Fin Blues was considered one of the best Australian songs of all time in 2009.
It was good, yes, but only by people, by his contemporaries, not a public vote.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Shark Fin Blues is a fantastic song, but we'll get onto the Drones in a future date. For now, we're going on to the kind of album in which I kind of finally started listening to this era, which is Laughing Death and Meatspace, Tropical Fuckstorm. I've been promising to do this album for like 2 years.
And I think it's good that you waited. I don't
Yeah.
think I would have appreciated this in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go and start doing some more heavy avant-garde next week, so it's kind of good to kind of start this. And the more I listen to this, the more kind of actually I see why I loved it in the first place. This is a chaotic mess in the most beautiful way. Like songs like Chameleon Paint, which start off with this kind of like drony beat at the start of it's kind of like elevator music nearly, and then goes into this kind of screeching overhaul so quickly, but it just hits so hard. The way the vocals come out from both Gareth and I believe Fiona is the other one doing it, but could be wrong. Songs like Antimatter Animals with the goddamn outro to that, with the just very simple, your politics ain't nothing but a fond fuck you over and over.
Great line.
Yeah.
The instrumentals on this album, absolutely fantastic. Almost, I don't consider this album a 10, but it's kind of moved up its rating for me the more that I listen to this. I actually think it's a lot better than what I originally gave it credit for back in 2018.
I can see that.
And I still put it as number 7 in 2018. My only fear that I ever had really on this, I know I did say that there are some references to foreign politics on here, but still my biggest fear that bringing this album in for you two is that there's going to be a lot lost in here because the majority of this is still Australian politics.
Yeah.
This is written mostly about our liberal government, which is our conservative government,
Yep.
around the Malcolm Turnbull leadership era, which I personally think Malcolm Turnbull was the best we've had in the past 10 years, which goes to show how shit we've had the past 10 years.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah.
But
We
still,
really haven't had a good leader in a long time. That's
I mean, songs like
that's
"Soft
talking.
Power" still feel current, because
Mm.
like this is written deep. This is in 2018. This is deep into like we want to go more like to the U.S. side of things. It's deep in the Trump era politics, so there's definitely like reverberations there.
Mm.
And they were talking about Trump too. They talking about Oompa Loompas
Yeah,
with the
well,
nukes.
of course, that was a thing to talk about. Yeah, the Oompa Loompa with the nukes, great line.
Yeah.
But us as kind of whole like talking, because foreign politics are kind of still important, especially when our government likes to constantly keep going. Oh, look what America's doing. We're gonna keep doing that, and then when America gets a progressive government in, and by progressive I mean progressive for American standards.
Yeah.
So still right leaning somehow.
Yeah.
Center right.
Yeah, we decide to go. No, actually, we're gonna go stick with the even worse government's ideas. So yeah, we've currently got one of those in at the moment. Bit of a Hillsong cult follower. Loves to go to Hawaii whenever there's issues in this country. Nice man, I'm sure. There's a great reference in You Let My Tires Down to just like an Australian location. I'm gonna assume neither of you know what High Point Shopping Centre is.
No.
Nope.
It's actually just a shopping centre in Melbourne.
All right.
Yeah.
They do talk
Actually,
about.
I actually have a co-worker who has a friend who owns a record shop around there, and I found that out the other day.
Nice.
Oh,
I
wow.
wonder if he was there for the shooting.
Oh, there was a shooting.
A
Oh,
child
didn't
was
know there was
mauled.
a shooting.
That's the lyric. A child was mauled by bullets outside the High Point Shopping Centre.
Oh.
Ah.
I do want to
I
point
didn't
out.
really get a chance to like deep listen to the lyrics this week because I was doing construction. So
I mean, I was listening to like what I could make out of the lyrics for all these albums. Really, didn't really go
Yeah.
deep into like the genius side of things and like look deeply into it. But they do talk about still relevant stuff, like he's railing on Top Gun 2 being a thing. I thought was funny.
I think
That movie still isn't out
I
yet.
think the opening 3 songs in here have generally some of the best lyrical moments of 2018 on them. You let my tires. You let my tires down. Not even the child was mauled by bullets on there. The snorted half a gram of Australia's finest homemade Coke is always a great line.
Yeah.
Antimatter animals probably has my favorite line on here, which is if you only want to be remembered. If you ought to be remembered, you're only making everything much worse. Which is this kind of whole talk about how politicians, when they're trying to set their legacy, they do so by fucking us all over.
Yeah.
Which is just such a impactful line. Chameleon Paint as well. Just the chorus in there is so simple. The why does it feel like I'm dying here? There's there's so much chaos in this album, but it's also organized as well, and it's people might listen to this and they might not be able to actually get into this album because it actually is quite a unique sound.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Sounds like it's very belabored. Like especially the vocals are so clear and distinct, so carefully sung. It feels so specifically.
Well, here's the other
delivered.
thing that's making me kind of more respect this album more as well. Is how many albums right now can you name off the top of your head that sounds exactly like this, or not even sounds exactly like this? Like you'll probably get some albums that are out there, but how many albums can you name off the top of your head that sound like this? There you go.
Yeah.
This is quite a fresh sound to this day. I mean, unfortunately for their kind of recent album, which I don't know if I'm going to cover, they've kind of tried to stick with the sound a bit too much, and they just haven't done it as well as they had on here. But this is fresh still. Listening to this.
Yes.
This will hold up for a while.
Yeah.
It feels a bit older in a way. Like it calls back to maybe some of like the more protest rock and more avant-garde rock compositions of like the 70s or in some ways the 90s as well, where it gets very political, stuff like that. But even then, you can kind of relate back to those different eras, but nothing still is quite like this. And I think that a lot of that goes to Lilliard's vocal patterns and just being so emotional and emotive on the tracks, and
Mhm.
like having the
hmm
the vocal harmonies as well definitely punch those up. But what I remember especially is just his voice and the way that it interacts with the music, and the music be very kind of like lumbering, and so like again very specifically sequenced. It's in a way where it should sound weird. It should sound off. Like there's too many beats here. This feels clunky, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I want to say when I talk about organized chaos in here as well, and how kind of everything fits here. When I say everything fits, I mean everything fits. If I just told you just the name of this band or the name of the album, if I just showed you the cover art, if I just showed you the name of the song, this is this is all how you expect it to be. There's no bait and switch on any of that. It feels this is one of the most fitting album arts I've seen to the instrumentation that you hear.
Yeah.
It sounds like what I assume a band called Tropical Fuckstorm would sound like.
Unless they were like a joke band, of course. But yeah,
Mm.
but they're no joke.
Mm.
If you take it seriously
Yep.
and take Tropical Fuckstorm as a name seriously, then this is the best you could expect.
Mm.
hmm
We're also talking about with Gareth Lilliard and King Gizzard. Tropical Fuckstorm and King Gizzard are actually kind of in the same scene at this point. The last 2 times I saw Tropical Fuckstorm, which are the only 2 times I've seen them, they were both times they were opening for a King Gizzard concert at the same venue actually,
Yeah, I was
which
reading.
was
hmm
interesting because it was like 3 years apart as well.
I was reading
So
that they're when they began Tropical Fuckstorm, they just kind of toured with King Gizzard in North America, like right off the bat.
Mm.
And like that was still when they were forming songs and still kind of getting all this started. So maybe they had like Chameleon Paint and a couple others, but
and they were mostly like
in
performing
covers.
their stuff on the drones.
I wish they would. I would like to hear their covers since I know they've done quite a few. Love to hear how their sound translates to all those different kinds of styles.
Mm.
I think they did like
Yeah.
Staying Alive and stuff, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they've done Staying Alive. One of my favorite songs wasn't in my top 100, but it was close to it. Last year was their cover of I think it's Saints This Perfect Day, which they actually did with Amy from Amaral and the Sniffers.
Nice, because like, I mean, good covers can really
Nice.
make a difference. Like, I think my favorite Capital City song is still their cover of "Staying Alive."
hmm
Yeah, they did a lot of covers that they actually released last year as B-sides
Yeah.
for their main singles. Like, yeah, they had This Perfect Day. They had Heaven, I believe, was the one for Legal Ghost. There's one other one that they did. I remember. But you go back onto the singles here. Staying Alive is actually a B-side to Rubber Bullies,
Nice.
and
Nice.
they had a couple other B-sides as well. I can't remember if they were all covers, but I think they do like to I think they actually all were actually. I think they kind of just like to do that as B-sides. And I didn't pick any of these up, but I remembered when I actually saw them live, they didn't have the vinyl to their album, I believe, or the CD, but they had all the 7 inches for all the singles.
Well, that's dope.
Ooh.
I should have, thinking about it, I probably should have picked it up for You Let My Tires Down, because that song is still so fucking fantastic.
It's a
The
great
way
intro.
it starts, yeah, it starts also, it's a perfect opener in the case in which it doesn't spoil the whole album, in which like, oh, once you've heard this, it's at its peak. I mean, it is my favorite song off here, but
Yeah.
it's like the album still does so much more, but this sets the tone for the album beautifully and correctly. It starts off so kind of slow, casual, yet heavy, and then just builds up, and like the outro where the guitar just gets even louder, faster, crazier, heavier. There's like this fucking clusterfuck of instrumentation, but it all fits so well in it. And the way that the vocals also get more passionate, with Gareth just screaming out, "You had my tires down," obviously in a better vocal delivery than that.
Yeah.
But
A little bit.
and then it also cruises at the end, but that allows it to kind of just
Mm.
flow into the next tracks, and like Antimatter Animals just flows so well from that. And that's another one where again the instrumentation is so weird, but fuck, I love it. And then even at the end of this album, where everything starts to get even more instrumental, and I mean, and Gareth isn't just a singer here; he plays guitar there. You actually
Right.
watch any of the live gigs. It's one of the few times you see someone actually use a whammy bar constantly,
Hmm.
which I swear I just never see outside of that now.
There's a lot of guitarists who you'll see,
Mm.
but they're not like as obvious. Like David Gilmour comes to mind. He has a special bar that he had manufactured for him, where he just grips it with his ring and pinky finger, and just constantly adds vibrato onto everything.
Oh, cool.
That's nice.
We'll mention also
But
talking
it's
about. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's one of those things where unless you study how he plays, you wouldn't notice at all.
But talking about King Gizzard again, their second album, Braindrops, was on Flightless.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah, it
definitely that
was.
connection there.
I mean, I consider Braindrops to be a continuation of this album, just because when I've had the album arts kind of lined up next to each other, they almost kind of flow with each other.
I can see that.
But again, after this album, Braindrops is still a good album, but in my opinion, it just doesn't live up to Laughing Death and Meatspace. But I think it's no longer because I think like albums like this have been a disappointment. I think it's just that Laughing Death and Meatspace is actually just better than I originally thought it was.
It's nice when like albums like that can just become better and better over time when you start to like them
Mm.
anyway.
Although I will say one of the more interesting things that happen on the later albums is that Gareth kind of starts to drop the main vocal duties on some of the songs, like "Here's My Eugene." I think it's mostly Fiona singing on that one, if not entirely.
You know, in a way,
Alright.
this does remind me of the Pixies in a certain way.
Mm.
I think because they do something that's very non-traditional and very interesting, and that could be of great influence for people later on.
Well,
Oh,
here's the true question now, because the majority member thing, and this is a question I asked in 2018. Do we get to call this a girl rock band for Tropical Foxstorm? Because I do,
Yeah,
but I feel like
yeah,
a lot of people wouldn't because it's male fronted vocals usually.
I mean, if it's going more than that direction over time, especially where he's giving them more power, then absolutely.
yeah.
This is what you get for waiting for 2 years. An actual good album.
No,
Who would have
yeah.
thought it, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also good that we staggered these because that way they both can win each week. And an Astroman, or in this one. Imagine having them go
Yeah,
head to head.
I don't plan to do any more Tropical Fuckstorm at the moment, just because Braindrops isn't big enough for here to really be worth covering, and Deep States just isn't hitting as hard.
Fair enough.
That's fine. This album's good.
So, yeah, if anyone hasn't heard Tropical Fuckstorm, listen to this album.
Also,
I
the
know you
wiki,
probably only need to listen to this album, but I mean, they got good stuff on their other albums, so it's not like, even though Deep States doesn't hit as hard, it's still a good album.
Wikipedia
Yeah.
page for the album is also very, very intricately detailed.
Yeah, well, this did get a bit more popularity after Fantano gave it an 8. But surprise, I don't know why this one kind of did, because Fantano's been covering, like, it's been one of the only non-Australians covering the drones that I can kind of think of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Fantano does definitely have an Australian streak in his reviews.
There is a lot of albums because Australians love underground music.
Yeah.
Like in America, obviously, there's a lot of underground scenes and stuff, but there's no like Triple J or anything there. They're
No.
all like internet or college radio there. There's no real proper mainstream one that does nothing but underground music on there. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's also a lot of other reasons and stuff like that. So like some of the acts that are underground here actually sell pretty big venues here. That's why we don't really have much of the whole like Phil Elverum coming out and playing at some random person's house type gigs here.
Can I have just a weird aside for a second to talk about my favorite experience with college radio?
Go ahead.
So I used to listen to, back when I lived in New York, used to listen to the local college radio station quite a bit because they'd play like indie shit. But one time I was driving to like a craft store because I needed like some dye or something like that, and I stayed in the car for an hour just listening to the two most boring hosts of a radio show I've ever heard, and it was one of my favorite things ever. Like
Okay.
it was two like just lacrosse jocks talking about modern metal,
Hmm.
and it was just like, so have you heard the new White Castle? Not White Castle, Whitechapel, not White Castle, but it's pretty heavy. So, anyways, Avengers Infinity War. I kind of agree with Thanos. Yeah, Thanos is pretty cool. Yeah. So
Fair
anyway,
enough.
here's the next metal pick we're playing, and then they'd play just something unlistenable that even coming from me, like I'm like this is just modern day Beavis and Butthead. I want to give these guys a fucking TV show.
It's amazing.
It
Uh,
was.
I also want to point out that when I say like we don't have like the whole kind of playing at the house, obviously we still have like actual like proper no one's heard of them kind of artists still playing there. But I am kind of more like saying like we have acts like Dune Rats playing it and playing at the big top, and then
You don't really have house shows?
we do have house shows and stuff like that, but we don't have like our actual like the underground scene in America.
Mm.
Like artists like Home is Where an Origami Angel play at house shows, but then like I go relate to Dune Rats and the Hockey Dads are all, which aren't absolutely huge artists here, but they'd still kind of be in the indie scene.
Mhm.
And then they play at venues and stuff because they're popular enough here. There's a big top venue which I'm seeing both of them at, and that would be, I don't know what the capacity on there is, but it's at least a couple hundred.
I sometimes I feel like house shows. It's not exactly that. It's not that there's no popularity, or it's not that there's they can't get something
It's not
better.
it's not because of popularity, but it's still I'm talking about kind of like the venue size and just kind of like
Yeah,
the culture with venues and stuff like that. I just feel a bit more. I mean, it used to be that artists were doing pubs and stuff back in
right.
the day here, so they would be going like that house party kind of style in
Yeah.
pubs, but that kind of thing died when we had gambling everywhere in pubs instead.
I mean, that's
I
when
don't
you
know,
get
it's
the
a weird
magic
thing.
of like Jeff Mangum going to a coffee shop and just laying
Mm.
down live at Jittery Joe's.
Yeah, that's why it's still good when we at least get like a record store kind of show, but that's really all we get now. I don't know, the magic of the pub gig starts to die a bit.
Like I love
There's a
seeing
Like
couple
I
like
know
things still
that
there.
Petite League when I saw Petite League in Kansas City. Oh, I
Mm.
mean, it was a house show. It was great. It was fantastic.
I will say that there are some bands in the States that prefer playing smaller venues. Like
Mm.
the OCs is a big one. They'll play like 3 shows in 3 days at like just a bar.
Nice.
I mean, OCs are big enough though here that they play in Endmore, so
Yeah.
There's
which
also
is the
like
same
the
place
beauty of being able to
same place
choose.
King Giz would play. So
If someone can
anyway,
host
though,
them, great. But
I choose to pick no least favorites this week, and my favorite is Let My Tires Down.
I
I don't
do.
think there's been a bad song, but there's just been better albums.
Yes. I do have to give a special
Mhm.
shout out to Shellfish Toxin being a great instrumental and being very
Mm.
kind of in that same vein as Manor Man about like not necessarily nuclear power and nuclear death, but like the way the world has gone in modern times and makes you really wonder and reflect on all of that. So that's a great song, I
Never
think.
kill her.
Nuclear, whatever the fuck. Let My Tires Down's also a great favorite of mine. So those two songs are my favorites. Nothing really least favorite.
Album's good.
What about you, Trace? Any
Hooray.
favorite least favorites?
I didn't really listen too deep enough to this because we mostly listened to this while we were putting up walls.
Oh, fair.
But fun album.
I can see going back to this quite a bit. I hope I do. It's a unique sound I would love to get more into.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's these albums. I think we're gonna have a unanimous ranking this week. I mean maybe not, but I feel like there's one way to do this.
It's probably not going to be unanimous. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I just thought about what I just said. It's like no, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be right. Well, Trace, you wanted to say yours first then?
Yeah. Number 3, The Frights. Number 2, Tropical Fuckstorm, and number 1, Reverse Shark Attack.
Oh,
You're wrong.
I agree with number
That's a
3
lie.
being the Frights. Number 3 for me is the Frights. Number 2 for me is Reverse Shark Attack. Number 1 is Tropical Fuckstorm.
Yeah, I'm obviously with Dominic there. I know it's personal taste. I personally just can't see how you would put Reverse Shark Attack, but granted, this is an Australian political album, so a lot of the lyrics hit a lot harder for me on this as well. So I also have that boost, which kind of makes me a bit more blind to the other albums. But
I just think Reverse
yeah,
Shark Attack
no,
is
you're
that
wrong.
much fun that I can see them being close. They are kind of close for me, but I do think Struggle Fuckstorm is more memorable, deeper, more interesting overall.
And more creative.
Yes.
Rip on ties
My
go.
charge down.
Anyway, let's go on to we want to do we've done the rankings, so I can't
Yes.
forget where we're up to. Let's.
The
I can't
albums
believe
next
I
week.
ripped on that for so long. I forgot what I was ripping. Why I was ripping on that. Yeah, albums next week. I'm
2021
happy to go
album.
first because I've already kind of spoiled to these two what I've been planning to do over the next 2 weeks. So, in 2 weeks, I plan to cover what I think is probably one of the more artistically interesting, I guess is the word to use, and impressive rap albums of this year. And there's also a bit of context that I'll give into that when it comes to it. But there's also an artist that I need to cover before we do that, and specifically for a song that gets sampled in the next one. That isn't in the 2021 album though, so I'm gonna have to attach that on as a single. So the album that we're going to be listening to, and Dominic's gonna be happy that we're finally getting around to it, is Black Midi's Cavalcade, which
Yeah.
I thought if we're gonna do this, we do Tropical Fuckstorm first, so we get into that kind of art rock near avant-garde. Now, if you thought Tropical Fuckstorm was chaotic, Cavalcade gets a lot more chaotic. So that's gonna be a lot more interesting. But I also had to attach to that, and we might not cover it as much during the episode, but it's still required listening. Is the single that they put out last year, Sweater, which is actually longer than any of the songs off Cavalcade as well. So
Okay.
it could.
All right.
I'm pretty sure it might be longer than albums we've covered, but it's only 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Checks.
This is a band I was thinking about doing. I was gonna do last year, but then they released a new album this year, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah! I'm going to be doing Shannon and the Clams, Year of the Spider.
Remember you were talking about this a while ago, so I'm excited to finally hear what this is about.
Yeah, they're kind of like a very 50s, 60s kind of style pop band.
So like the
I
Frights.
very much hate the album art already.
Oh god. Oh no.
Yeah, no, this. Oh no.
What is it? Do you not like spiders?
No, it just looks horrifying.
Yeah, it's not the best album art. They always have campy album art if you look at their older stuff.
Why do I feel like this band's about to tell me why I should vote for Trump even though I'm Australian?
God. Oh no.
They're not
No.
even fucking Republicans.
Oh god. I don't know what to think about this. This is not what I expected.
Sorry, I'm not Homer. Now I'm walking in this.
Okay.
That's
While on the horn, look at the album art for Onion and tell me if that's better.
I'm going to, but it's probably not. Oh
Anyway.
no, it's is that a fucking Shrek reference?
I think so.
I'm looking at that. It's like surely not. It's better though.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyway.
it's a Tony Abbott reference.
I would like to do Little Nas X's Montero, get that out of the way. But I also want to tack on the holiday single that he put out between Seven and Montero, just to kind of get that covered. And if we could also watch all the music videos and shit that Little Nas X put out and supported Montero, like all the videos, I would also appreciate that.
All right.
Because he's done really great stuff. Like the Montero show's a great skit.
If I wanted to see someone have sex with Satan, actually, wait, no, never mind. That is something I want to see. Yeah, I'm done.
It's good stuff. I'm very excited to cover Montero and Holiday and all the videos. It's gonna be a very interesting
This is
listen.
actually an album that I've haven't listened to yet intentionally, because I knew it would be covered.
I thought about like doing a left turn and potentially not covering it this week, but I just really want to cover this. I like listening to the album. Ready?
That's fair enough.
Dominic, not to be the what's the word? The stereotype man here, but there was no way that the gay person on this podcast was not going to choose this.
Yeah. I had hoped that someone else would choose it so I could choose something else, but no, I'm not gonna get that lucky.
If there was anyone who was going to choose this, whether it be for the stereotype and for straight up discrimination, whatever, it's always going to be the gay person.
Fair enough.
That's
Gay
why
man
we don't
number one
choose.
here.
That's why me and Trix haven't chosen Madonna.
Oh no, leave it to me.
I'm also not really into Madonna.
Oh, that as well, but
Oh, I'll make you suffer. Don't worry.
I am into Dolly Parton though, so.
Oh, I know some Madonna albums to choose. I know some very interesting Madonna albums to choose.
So the stereotype is true. Fuck. See, here I was just an agey like 7-year-old in primary school going like, oh, if you like Madonna, you're gay, and it turns out it's true.
Like, have I argued with people about the best Madonna album? Yeah. Have I listened to all Madonna albums? No. Have I listened to a few
Did
of them?
I want to be
Yes.
Did I want to be one of Madonna's adopted babies growing up? Yes.
No. Do I think Madonna gets shit on a lot for no reason because she's older? Yeah. I don't get it.
Every
Well,
artist.
I mean,
gets
since we're talking about Madonna, she fucking showed her ass on live TV recently.
Good.
good on her.
Anyway, we'll get to Madonna, I'm sure, in 2022. But for now, we're covering Lil Nas X's Montero and Holiday, and hopefully the videos if we can get to them. Shannon and the Clams, Year of the Spider, and Black Midi's Cavalcade with the Sweater single as well.
And Dominic's Madonna collection.
Not yet.
That's a mini-sode right there. Dominic's Madonna collection.
One CD
So this
and a
one
bunch of digital tracks.
This one I got when I was 5, and this one I got when I was 7, and this one my grandma gave to me and gave me a pat on the head saying I support you no matter what. And this one,
My grandparents were alive to see my gayness. They were not.
yeah, fair enough. Granted, I'm just doing jokes with no historical basis on them.
Yeah.
Sounds like
most
Australia
jokes.
to me.
Yeah, well,
No historical basis.
we don't really like to talk about our history here. Not as bad as the Americans at hiding history, at least.
Yeah. Anyway.
Mostly just because a lot of our history is just us losing wars to animals. A lot of people go at the emu war, but the cane toads are still fucking us over.
Oh yeah. Don't if you lick like a cane toad, you'll start hallucinating.
That happens with most toads.
Oh,
Fair enough.
Trix,
Guess I
how
should
many
go lick
animals
some
have you
toads.
licked just to go like, have you been unable to like you get any normal drug and you just see a frog outside and hope it's a toad and you just go, oh, I'm gonna lick this and hope I see something, and then you see the fucking hospital.
I've not licked any animals.
not even
My
like
strange-
the dog. Or
Remember
the
the
cat?
My Strange Addiction? The I'm addicted to licking cat fur. Good times.
Anyway, that's been Dissonant Waves for this week. I'm Dominic. You can catch me online at DACICHOCKI on Twitter. I've written for places like Tilting Studios before. Catch me on there if you'd like. I have a short film out on YouTube called Beat. You can check that out on my YouTube channel, which is Dominic Chikoki, my name. Yeah.
Don't forget your Discogs collection.
I don't have a Discogs collection, actually. I don't have it on there.
Ah.
I should probably do that, though.
Is
That'd
that
be
to
fun.
hide all the Madonna?
But you can also follow Dissonant Waves on Twitter at Dissonant Waves. DissonantWaves.space is our website, and we have a YouTube channel, Dissonant Waves.
Yeah.
I have been Ritalin. You can catch me on our website, Ritalin for kids. Ritalin for kids, no, it's Ritalin for kids.github.io. I sometimes post stuff there. I eventually will be building out more updates to my game. I think by the time that this gets released, I might have anything about 1.2.0.0. I guess we'll see. I know the episode that's probably released at the time of recording will finally say, hey, I put out an update to my game. It has been a while. I also have a YouTube channel that I have not updated in a while. It mostly just gets random CSGO clips anytime I do something good. Which is, once in a blue moon, but, it kind of happens sometimes. I do have a Discogs account, but, it's not, my collection's not complete. Not because I want to hide anything I own. I've got absolutely no shame here. Just, I am really lazy.
Oh, I should
That
post
is
my
absolutely fair.
recent CD gets in the chat at least. They can show you all what I got. Not Madonna, unfortunately, but
Although
Well,
my
I
dope
have-
smoker is coming soon.
Hell yeah. I have been tricked, so you can catch me on Twitter at procrastinaut_. That is like procrastinating astronaut and then an underscore at the end of it. I also have a bot that will be linked in the description that just tweets out shit like Piss Wizard and Piss Bong.
Nice.
And I recently created a TikTok.
Piss
I
Throne.
am no Piss Throne. I need to add that one. But I did recently create a TikTok. I am at Big Beefy Sauce Mommy on TikTok.
Can't wait to see Trix do a floss. That's still popular, right?
I have no fucking clue. I am just gonna be harassing Frank's Red Hot with it.
Fair enough. Create the social media account just to try and get either free shit from corporations, or to harass a celebrity, or just to harass someone you know. They're all
Yeah.
valid reasons, and that's what makes social media great.
That's what social media was invented for.
Don't
Remember
harass
that
individuals. Harass corporations because they're not people.
Remember that the internet was created as a way for us to communicate to each other, and it's now mostly used just to call people a fucking idiot from thousands of kilometers away, and that's how the internet should be used.
Yes. That is how the world works and should work.
So if you want to go call me an idiot, by the way, put it down in my I'll probably just send me a DM on YouTube, because I usually just spend all my time procrastinating watching stuff on there, so I'll probably see it.
Wait, you like to procrastinate like an astronaut?
I don't think astronauts procrastinate. I think that's the whole jokes with Trix names there, but yeah, sure.
I mean, there is Sleep's marijuana, so there's probably some procrastinating there.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
I forgot that this is a music podcast for 5 minutes, so.
join us next time
Fair
for
enough.
episode 70 goddamn 5.
Hell yeah.
Have a good day, everybody.